You know, Jordan, I can't believe we're really doing this. For years, I've dreamed of having a place that's truly ours. A cozy nest where we can fill every room with laughter and memories. I remember all those late-night talks about what our future home would look like, the colors we'd paint the walls, and how we'd finally have space for that big, comfy couch we always wanted. Now, standing here, it feels surreal. It's like all those dreams are finally starting to take shape, and I can't help but feel a mix of excitement and nerves. This is such a huge step for us, and I know it won't always be easy, but I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else but you.
I know, Lisa, it's kind of wild. I mean, we spent so many nights just scrolling through those online listings, picturing ourselves cooking in those charming kitchens and soaking up the sun in those bright living rooms. Remember that one house with the bright yellow door? We must have talked about it for hours, imagining what it would be like to welcome friends and family there. And all those times we debated whether we wanted a big backyard for summer barbecues or a cozy reading nook by the window. It felt like a distant dream, but now it's actually happening. We're not just imagining anymore, we're making real decisions, and it's both thrilling and a little bit scary.
But now we're actually taking the plunge. We reached out to a realtor and well, here we go, diving headfirst into this whole real estate thing. I never realized how many steps there are. From setting up meetings to touring homes and asking the right questions. Every day feels like a new adventure, and sometimes I wonder if we're ready for all the decisions ahead. But I keep reminding myself that every homeowner started somewhere, and we're learning together. It's a little overwhelming but also empowering to know we're taking control of our future.
Honestly, as first-timers, I feel like we're in way over our heads. Words like pre-approval, escrow, and amortization keep popping up, and it's like, what even is all that? I never thought buying a home would mean learning a whole new vocabulary. Sometimes I worry that we'll miss something important or make a mistake, but I guess that's part of the process. It's comforting to know we're not alone and that there are people who can help us understand all this. Still, it's a lot to take in, and I just want to make sure we're making the right choices for our future.
Yeah, it's like learning a whole new language or something, but at least we can laugh about it together. Every time we figure out what a new term means, it feels like a little victory. I love that we can support each other through the confusion and celebrate the small wins. Even when things get stressful, I know we can find moments of joy and keep each other grounded. This whole experience is teaching us so much, not just about houses, but about teamwork and patience too.
Lisa and Jordan were head over heels, not just for each other, but for the idea of buying their first home together. Their journey was filled with anticipation, hope, and a fair share of nerves. Every step brought new challenges, but also new opportunities to grow closer and learn more about what they truly wanted in a home. They discovered that the process was about more than just bricks and mortar. It was about building a life together, one decision at a time. The excitement of imagining their future in a space they could call their own kept them motivated, even when things got tough. They quickly realized that understanding all these new terms was really important if they wanted to navigate the home buying process with confidence. From learning about credit scores and down payments to figuring out what an inspection actually involves, Lisa and Jordan dove into research, asked lots of questions, and leaned on experts for guidance. They knew that the more they learned, the better prepared they'd be to make smart choices and avoid common pitfalls. It wasn't always easy, but their determination to get it right kept them moving forward. This is their journey, and as they learn, we'll be right there with them, demystifying the jargon and unlocking the secrets to successful homeownership. Together, we'll explore the ups and downs, celebrate the milestones, and discover what it really takes to turn a house into a home. So, whether you're a first-time buyer like Lisa and Jordan, or just curious about the process, join us as we follow their adventure, one step, one lesson, and one dream at a time. Lisa and Jordan's realtor Maria was honestly amazing. From the very first meeting, she made them feel comfortable and welcomed, like they were in good hands. Buying a home can be overwhelming, especially for first-timers, but Maria had a way of breaking down the process into simple, manageable steps. She just had this way of explaining things that made everything seem a little less intimidating. Instead of bombarding them with jargon, she used real-life examples and analogies that made sense. It was clear she genuinely cared about helping them understand every part of the journey.
First things first, let's talk about pre-qualification. This is usually the starting point for most buyers, and it's a great way to get a sense of where you stand before you dive in too deep.
Pre-qualification, what does that mean? Is it like getting approved for a loan or is it something different?
Think of pre-qualification like a quick checkup for your finances. It's not a deep dive, but more of a surface-level look at your financial health. You don't need to provide tons of paperwork, just some basic info about your income, your debts, and your assets. You give a lender some basic information about your financial situation, like how much you make, what you owe, and what you have saved up. It's usually a quick conversation or an online form, and you don't need to dig up every document you own. And based on that, they give you an estimate of how much you might be able to borrow. It's not a guarantee, but it's a helpful starting point. You'll get a ballpark figure that helps you set realistic expectations for your home search. It's like a sneak peek into what you can afford. You can start browsing homes in your price range, and you won't waste time falling in love with places that are way out of reach. It's a great way to focus your search and avoid disappointment down the road.
Next up was pre-approval, which took things a step further. This part of the process was a bit more involved, but Maria explained why it was so important. Pre-approval isn't just a casual estimate, it's a formal review of your finances by a lender.
Pre-approval is more official. The lender will ask for actual documentation, pay stubs, tax returns, bank statements, and they'll run a credit check. It's a thorough process, but it shows you're serious about buying. The lender takes a thorough look at your finances, your income, credit score, debts, really everything that matters when it comes to borrowing money. They want to make sure you're a good candidate for a mortgage, and that you'll be able to handle the payments. And then, if everything checks out, they give you a pre-approval letter with the exact amount you're qualified to borrow. This letter is like your ticket to the next stage of home buying. Think of it as a golden ticket. It's proof to sellers and real estate agents that you're not just window shopping. You're ready and able to make a real offer. It shows sellers that you're serious and ready to make an offer. In a competitive market, having pre-approval can make all the difference. Sellers are more likely to consider your offer over someone who hasn't taken this step.
Armed with their pre-approval, Lisa and Jordan felt empowered. They knew exactly what they could afford, and they had the confidence to move forward. The uncertainty and anxiety faded away, replaced by excitement and anticipation. And honestly, a lot more confident. They could now focus on finding the right home, knowing they had the financial backing to make it happen. It was a huge relief to have that clarity. Now, they were really ready to start house hunting for real. With Maria's guidance and their pre-approval letter in hand, Lisa and Jordan could finally enjoy the search for their dream home, knowing they were prepared for whatever came next. The world of mortgages can definitely feel like a maze, with unfamiliar terms and so many options that it's easy to get overwhelmed. But Maria, their real estate agent, was right there to guide Lisa and Jordan through all the twists and turns, making sure they understood every step before moving forward. She knew that buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions most people ever make, and she wanted them to feel confident and informed.
At its core, a mortgage is basically just a loan that's used to buy a property. But unlike other loans, a mortgage is secured by the home itself, which means if you can't make your payments, the lender can take back the house. That's why it's so important to understand exactly what you're signing up for. There are two main types of mortgages you'll hear about most often: fixed rate and adjustable rate. Each one works a little differently, and the right choice depends on your financial situation and your long-term plans. With a fixed-rate mortgage, your interest rate stays the same for the entire loan term, usually 15 or 30 years. That means your monthly payments for principal and interest won't change, no matter what happens in the broader economy. For many people, this predictability is a huge relief, especially if you're planning to stay in your home for a long time. That means your monthly payments are predictable, which a lot of folks find really reassuring. You can budget with confidence, knowing exactly what you'll owe each month, and you won't have to worry about sudden jumps in your payment if interest rates go up. Adjustable rate mortgages, on the other hand, have interest rates that can change over time. Usually, they start with a lower rate for the first few years, sometimes called a teaser rate, which can make your initial payments more affordable. You might get lower payments at first, but there's also the risk that your payments could go up later. After the initial period, the interest rate adjusts, sometimes every year, based on market conditions. If rates rise, so do your payments, which can be stressful if you're on a tight budget or if you plan to stay in your home for many years.
Maria helped Lisa and Jordan weigh the pros and cons of each type, taking into account their future plans, how long they expected to stay in the home, and how comfortable they were with the possibility of changing payments. She explained that while fixed-rate mortgages offer stability, adjustable-rate loans can sometimes save money if you're planning to move or refinance before the rate adjusts. Together, they looked closely at their budget, their savings, and their long-term goals, so they could choose what worked best for their finances and their comfort level with risk. Maria encouraged them to ask questions and make sure they understood every detail before making a decision. Along the way, they also learned about different loan terms, how interest rates are set, and why it's so important to shop around for the best mortgage deal. Comparing offers from different lenders can save you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. By the end of the process, Lisa and Jordan felt empowered and ready to take the next step toward owning their dream home, knowing they had made the best choice for their future.
So Jordan and I knew we needed a down payment. That's a percentage of the home's price we'd have to pay up front.
The bigger your down payment, the smaller your loan and monthly payments will be.
Maria also introduced them to something called private mortgage insurance, or PMI. If their down payment was less than 20%, they'd probably have to pay PMI, which protects the lender in case of default.
As we checked out different neighborhoods, we started hearing about homeowners association fees.
HOAs, or homeowners associations, are pretty common in many communities and cover shared amenities like pools and landscaping.
It's important to factor HOA fees into your budget.
In some areas, Lisa and Jordan also ran into something called Mello-Roos taxes. These are special taxes used to fund local infrastructure projects. Maria made sure they understood if these taxes applied to the homes they were considering. Navigating the world of real estate honestly felt a bit like a crash course in legal jargon.
One term we kept hearing was CC and Rs.
CC and Rs stand for covenants, conditions, and restrictions. They cover things like landscaping guidelines, noise restrictions, and even what color you can paint your front door.
We realized pretty quickly that understanding CC and Rs was super important, since they basically dictate what we can and can't do with our property.
Maria patiently answered all their questions, making sure Lisa and Jordan felt comfortable with all the fine print before